is Andy, sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book-related things, and today I am giving you my February TBR. I am going to be finishing at least 2 series in February, and I'm pretty excited about that. I'm also going to be knocking out something that is on my 30 before 30 list, hopefully, and that is going to take quite some time to get through, but we will talk about that. If you have never seen one of my videos, one of my TBRs before, I'm going to go ahead and give the disclaimer now. I do separate these into 2 parts. The first part is my series continuations, and then the second part is everything else. I want to disclaim also that if it is like the 5th, 6th, 8th book in a series, I generally don't give the summary for those books just because that seems like I might risk spoiling something. So I'm just going to run through the ones that I'm not going to explain at all really quickly. Any of the ones that I am rereading, I will go ahead and tell you about the very first book, and any of them that are like the Discworld series by Terry Pratchett, those are a little bit more random. Each book doesn't necessarily tie into one another. I will then tell you about that book. So for the book series that I'm going to be finishing this month, so happy, I will be reading The Discord of Gods by Jen Lyons. This is the 5th book in the series, and it is, these audiobooks are so long, y'all. These books are so long. I am enjoying them, but I am excited to be done with the series. There's a little bit too much horse nonsense happening. The last book was a really interesting concept though, so this continuation will be a lot of fun, I think. I think it'll be really interesting. Next up, we have The Witch Comics, volumes 14 and 15 by Elizabeth Known. That might be a typo on my end, I don't know. These comics are a series that I have been reading this whole time. It's for months now, it feels like, and transparently, if I finish 14 and 15 and feel like I have time, I might go ahead and do 16 and 17 as well, because I feel like I'm getting very close to the end. I think there's like 21 or 24 or something of these comics, and I would really like to get them knocked out, transparently. And the next series that I'm going to be completely finishing this month is going to be book 6 or 7 in the Shadow Children or Invisible Children, I never can remember, series by Margaret Peterson Haddix. That last book is called Among the Free. This series is about kids who are not supposed to exist per the government, and the rebellion and the uprising that is occurring per that. Dystopian sci-fi, middle grade-ish age. It's been interesting. I've enjoyed it. I'm grateful for the recommendation, but it's been getting a little religious-y, so I'm a bit glad that we're moving on from it. Next up, we have a series I will be rereading and then reading the next 2 books. I did not realize there is a 4th book coming out this year. That's on me, bit irritating, but here we are. That is going to be the Saffron Everly mystery books by Kate Kavari, sorry. I will be rereading the first book, which I read it as an advanced reader copy, I think back in 2021 or 2022, and then reading the next 2 books. I don't know when the 4th book comes out. I'm hoping that it comes out sooner rather than later, and I can just throw it on a TBR and not have to reread all of these again. Like, my memory will remember the books, but we'll see. Newly minted research assistant Saffron Everly is determined to blaze a new trail at the University College London, but with her colleagues' beliefs about women's academic inabilities and not so subtle hints that her deceased father's reputation paved her way into the botany department, she feels stymied at every turn. When she attends a dinner party for the school, she expects to engage in conversations about the university's large expedition to the Amazon. What she does not expect is for Mrs. Henry, one of the professor's wives, to drop to the floor, poisoned by an unknown toxin. Dr. Maxwell, Saffron's mentor, is the main suspect, and evidence quickly mounts. Joined by fellow researcher and potential romantic interest, Alexander Ashton, Saffron uses her knowledge of botany as she explores steamy greenhouses, dark gardens, and deadly poisons to clear Maxwell's name. Next up, we have The Word Sisters by Terry Pratchett. This is a book in the Discworld series. There are so many books in the Discworld series, and there are so many orders to read them. I'm currently reading them in the intended order. I am mostly rereading them. I grew up reading these books, so a lot of these are realistically rereads, but some of them I may have missed. Who knows? Witches are not by nature gregarious, and they certainly don't have leaders. Granny Weatherwax was the most highly regarded of the leaders they didn't have. But even she found that meddling in royal politics was a lot more difficult than certain playwrights would have you believe. The boys are behind me, and they're purring hella, and it is distracting. I don't know if I can make it focus on them. Moving on. Those are all of the series that I will be reading this year. The rest of, or not this year, ew, this month. I've filmed this video already. Transparently, I already filmed this video and I edited it and I fucked up the edit, but I didn't know I fucked up the edit until after I'd already deleted the raw footage. So this is the second time I'm filming it. So if it feels like I seem like I'm recalling information, it's because I've already filmed this video. Moving on. The rest of the books I will be reading largely are books that have been on my TBR for quite some time, and I am excited to knock them out, more or less. The first one is literally like the second or third book on my Goodreads TBR. Like the only thing above it might be Electo the Ninth, because I have just been putting off reading it. So I'm finally reading some of these things. The first one that we have is Bitter Thorn by Kat Dunn. Blumwald is a town overshadowed by an ancient curse. In a sinister castle in the depths of the wildwood lives a monstrous witch. Once a generation, she comes to claim a companion to return with her, never to be seen again. Now that the time is drawing near once more. Mina, daughter of the Duke, is grieving and lonely. She's lost all hope of any future for herself in Blumwald. So, when the witch demands her next companion, Mina says, "Pick me, bestie," because she has nothing to live for. However, stranded with her hot captor that she's probably crushing on based on the wording here, the mystery of what happened to the previous companions draws Mina into the heart of a terrifying secret that could either save her life or end it. Next up, we have The Harpy by Megan Hunter. This is a contemporary novel that I thought was horror because the cover looks like it would be a horror novel, but it's contemporary. But also the concept feels a little horror-esque, so I don't know, but contemporary novels pretending you're horror novels when I catch you. Anyway, Lucy and Jake live in a house by a field where the sun burns like a ball of fire. That's dumb. Sorry. Lucy has set her career aside in order to devote her life to the children, to their finely tuned routine, and to the house itself, which comforts her like an old sly friend. But then a man calls one afternoon with a shattering message. His wife has been having an affair with Lucy's husband, Jake. The revelation marks a turning point. Lucy and Jake decide to stay together, but make a special arrangement designed to even the score and save their marriage. She will hurt him 3 times, and I hope that she murders him. As the couple submit to a delicate game of crime and punishment, Lucy herself begins to change, surrendering to a transformation of both mind and body from which there is no return. I hope that she kills him or becomes a scary monster. That's my hope for the book. Next up, we have My Darling Dreadful Thing by Johanna Van Veen, and I'm going to be honest here, the names of these people all sound slightly similar. Ruth, Roos, and what was the other one? Noop. Right. So, Roos has a spirit companion only she can see named Ruth. That's the main point of her life, right? And then Agnes Noop scoops her up, says, "Come to my busted up house that's kind of scary and help me deal with that." Alright? Something dreadful is happening in this manor, but Roos and Agnes, they're hot for each other. They're busy being gay. But then someone gets murdered, because of course they do. Alone with a history of hysterics, because nobody believes that Roos can actually see spirits. Everybody thinks it's Roos who did it. Her sanity and innocence are in question, and she'll have to prove who or what is at fault, or she will lose everything that she holds dear. Sapphic seances! That's what we're getting with this book. Next up, we have Snake Oil by Kelsey Ray Dimberg. Snake Oil follows 3 different women and kind of the tension of these 3 women coming to a head. First up, we have CEO Rhoda. She's the quintessential girl boss. She founded the $1 million wellness company Radical, and she is admired for her business acumen and her flawless skin and her enviable Instagram presence. However, Rhoda is super paranoid. She thinks people are constantly out to get her and take her business, and she will go to any lengths to protect what she's built. Dani found Radical when her life was in rock bottom, like things were not going well. She sold everything that she had and moved across the country to go work for Radical, and then is handpicked by Rhoda for a new role. But then as Dani gets like tied up in her inner circle, Rhoda's inner circles, she realizes some sketchy shit is happening. Then Cecilia works in customer service, handling customer complaints, but they don't call it customer service, they call it customer worship, and that just makes me sick in my stomach to think about. She does that during the day, and at night she runs an anonymous Twitter account where she talks shit about this company and says that like Rhoda is a hypocrite and terrible things are happening. She finally gets like kind of a confirmation that that actually is what's going on, and she might be willing to sacrifice everything to share the truth to bring down Rhoda. There is a company party and a shocking tragedy strikes the company. In the aftermath, the women will be forced to confront their loyalties and figure out what's real and what's just snake oil. Also, I think the cover of this is like genuinely very beautiful. Next up, we have two books that I will be reading. They are young adult romance books. Shocking, I know. The first one is called Dungeons and Drama by Christy Boyce. The second is Dating and Dragons by Christy Boyce. This follows Riley, who gets in trouble for stealing her parents' car, and she then has to work at her dad's game shop. She doesn't want to waste her time working because she's a musical to save, and so she convinces Nathan, who also works at this shop, to cover her shifts. In exchange, she'll flirt with him to make his like little gamer girl crush jealous. That Riley did not realize that that meant that she had to join the Dungeons and Dragons game though, and then discovered that it's actually a really fun game. And then she also realizes that maybe she doesn't have to use that many acting skills to flirt with Nathan. So we've got like a fake dating situation going on. I don't know what the second book's going to be about because obviously that has to come to a head in the book, so like, what? Next up, we have my nonfiction pick for the month. That is going to be Dolls of Our Lives by Mary Mahoney and Allison Horrocks. These women usually run a podcast, so most of the time when I read nonfiction books, I read them with my eyes. This one I will be listening to because I think that will benefit me a little bit more here. This is about the history of American Girl dolls and like why we keep buying them and how did this brand shape an entire generation and just the history of all of this iconic brand. I'm excited about it. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm a big fan of American Girl doll. Not necessarily a company, but like the dolls. I like them a lot. So it will be interesting to read it. I'm excited about it. And for my like little 30 before 30 challenge, if you don't know, I have a list of things that I would like to do before I turn 30, and one of them was to read a chapter book in Spanish. Now, really specifically here, I knew it needed to be middle grade because I'm not that good at Spanish yet, but I also knew that it needed to be a book I had read before and had a copy of. Ideally a physical copy, but if not, you know, a digital copy is fine. And I realized that a physical copy of the Spanish book would also be helpful. Now, I wanted initially for it to be Witchlings by Claribel Ortega, but I could not find a physical copy of the Spanish version, and I still might do the Spanish version, and I might find the Spanish version, but I could not find a physical copy. So when I went to Book People in Austin with Landis not too long ago, per filming this video, by the time this comes out, a little bit about a month ago, and I was able to find Loteria by Carla Arenas Valenti. I read this quite a while ago. If I remember right, I was still actually like going into the office possibly at my old job, and I also remember that I had to ask one of my best friends what loteria is because I had never heard of it before. And it's like bingo, kind of. That's the closest thing that I can give it if you don't know. It's not exactly like bingo, but it's, you know, nobody come for me, all right? That was what I was told. I have read it before. Like I said, got it as an advanced reader copy, but I am excited to read it in Spanish. I like took a glance through it while talking to Landis and realized that I think I could read this in Spanish. It's gonna be difficult, and it's gonna probably take me the whole month to do it, but I think it'll be worth it. I think it'll be a good time. It is the hottest hour of the hottest day in Oaxaca City when life and death walk into town, ready to begin a new life of loteria. But first they need a pawn, a child whose fate will be determined by the winner of the game, a long and prosperous life or an untimely death. Fate finds this child in a robin egg blue house tucked beneath a massive jacaranda tree, and so the game begins. Every card reveals a new twist in Clara's fate. A tree, a scorpion, a fateful arrow, a mermaid, a deer, a treacherous rose. But Clara knows none of this. All she knows is that her cousin Esteban has vanished, and she'll do whatever it takes to save him, traveling to the mythical kingdom of Los Pozos in her search. And although it seems her fate was sealed as soon as the cards were dealt, Clara just might have what it takes to shatter the game and choose a new path. So, yeah. I'm excited about it. I think it'll be a fun challenge, and overall I'm excited about this TBR. I've scheduled things out. I think I have planned things really well, and I think that it's gonna go well. I'm excited about it. But that's it. That's the video. If you've read any of these books and enjoyed them, please let me know in the comments down below. By the time this video comes out, there's a strong chance I'll have read a couple of these already, so we can probably discuss it. If you haven't read them and now you want to, let me know about that too. I'd love to hear about it. But yeah, that's it. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. I post videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time every single week except the first full week of the month, because taking breaks is important. So I will see you guys later this week. Don't forget to take your meds, drink your water, and do something today to take care of yourselves. What the fuck? Okay, thanks, bye. What are we doing? What are you doing, my love? Okay.